Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dhanvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Bol to all the devotees who led the chanting this morning, Pawan Prabhuji and Aarti Mataji. Hari Bol. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll continue with our prayer. Anybody would like to recite today? We are singing the series of prayers by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Gitavali, inspired by Shikshashtakam, where he is glorifying each of the 8 verses of Shikshashtakam. So today, or this week, we are singing the first song, first bhajan, Shikshashtakam, bhajan 1. Okay, I can continue today then, and hopefully later in the week other devotees can recite.
So how the
Yes, Prabhu?
tune is like, I can try to.
Yeah.
Same.
So it
One,
goes like this.
yeah, first one. Yeah. Second one I will try.
Yeah. Pita Varana Kali Pavan Gaura Pita Varana Kali Pavan Gaura Gao Yai Chana Bhava Vibhora Gao Yai Chana Bhava Vibhora. You want to try?
Yeah. Chitandarpana Parimarjana. Nahi, you are right.
Chitta Darpana Parimarjana Kari.
Okay.
Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chitta Bihari.
I will read the translation. Continue, Prabhu.
Okay, maybe tomorrow you can try. Hela Bhavadava Nirvapana Vritti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Nivritti Shreya Kumuda Vidhu Josna Prakasha Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Vishuddha Vidyavadhu Jivana Rupa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Siddha Swarupa Ananda Payo Nidhi Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Plavana Murti Pade Pade Piyusha Swada Pradata Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidhata Bhakti Vinoda Swatma Snapana Vidhana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Bhakti Vinoda Swatma Snapana Vidhana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Prabhu, you can read the translation.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Lord Gauranga, whose complexion is golden and who is deliverer of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, sings as follows, overwhelmed with the spiritual ecstasy. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It thoroughly cleans the mirror of the heart. This chanting relaxes the soul. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It extinguishes the horrible forest fire of the material existence. This chanting removes all material tribulations. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It appears like the moon in the heart and distributes its cooling moonlight, thus causing the white lotus of good fortune to bloom. This chanting is the pastime of devotion. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It is compared to a young bride, chaste and devoted to transcendental knowledge itself. This chanting is the highest perfection of life. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It is glorious as it causes the ocean of ecstatic bliss to swell and overflow. This chanting is an inundation of love of Godhead. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It gives one a taste of fully satisfying nectar of every step. This chanting is the bestower of ecstatic love of God. All glories to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. It baths the soul of the Bhakti Vinoda. This chanting is a storehouse of love of God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Ho. Yes, anything you liked from this bhajan, Prabhu?
Yeah, I mean, how the powerful of this chanting holy name of Krishna, like kind of it burns all the material contamination that we have in our mind, and it washes and like appears like moon of heart and mm, cool like moon. This chanting also helps for our perfection of life to go back to the Godhead. Yeah, that is what, and we'll get
Yes.
all this ecstasy, right? If we chant this holy name. Yes.
Yes. सारे फल मिलेंगे नरेंद्र को. Yes, all the uh, the fruits of the holy name is given here. Actually, every line, if you see, like it says Krishna Kirtana, Jai Ho to the Krishna Kirtan, basically Krishna Kirtan ki Jai, and each verse is giving one benediction, basically, right? Chitta Vihari, it cleanses our heart. Klesha Nivritti, this is pastime of the Lord. This is like a pastime. This is removing the bad things from our heart. Increases bhakti. It gives us our Siddha Swarup. Helps us. So, Krishna Kirtan ki Jai Ho. So it's nice how Bhaktivinoda Thakur has gone. Mahaprabhu gave only eight instructions in Shikshashtakam. And in this the first of the 8, he has written 8 verses for that. So that's nice. Krishna Kirtan Jai. Prema Vidhata, Prema Nidan. Yeah, so all this blessings are coming from the Acharyas. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, let's continue with our reading of teachings of Lord Kapila Dev with wonderful nectarian purports by Srila Prabhupada. So yesterday we completed up to chapter 10, which was spiritual attachment and material detachment. So as the title itself says, spiritual attachment. Once we attach to the spiritual life, then whatever bad things, anarthas we have, will slowly and gradually, for surely, if we stay on the path sincerely, following the instructions, then the detachment to material desires will happen. So that will be like a byproduct, and that you will see. Sometimes people ask, how do I see that I'm advancing in spiritual life? The symptom is that your desires for material sense gratification, material enjoyment will slowly and gradually start decreasing. So that is a symptom, that's the sign that we are advancing spiritually. So that was the chapter that we just read, where Prabhupada is saying when we attach with spiritual attachment, material detachment comes automatically. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं कि हमें कुछ छोड़ना नहीं है, हमें सिर्फ कृष्णा को जोड़ना है. As soon as कृष्णा को जोड़ लेते हैं तो जो छूटना है वो अपने आप छूटने लग जाता है. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 11, the symptoms of a sadhu. Text 21. Titikshavaha karunikaha suhrida sarvadehinam ajata shatrava shantaha sadhava sadhubhushanaha. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country, from door to door, preaching, "Be Krishna conscious. Be a devotee of the Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness." These are the preachings of a sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is the most compassionate personality toward all fallen souls. One of his qualifications, therefore, is karunika, great mercy to the fallen souls. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhu has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. They don't like it. That is their disease. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified. Haridas Thakur was caned in 22 marketplaces. And Lord Chaitanya's principal assistant, Nityananda, was violently attacked by Jagai and Madhai. But still, they were tolerant because their mission was to deliver fallen souls. A sadhu is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all the living entities. He is not only a well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. The word Sarvadehinam refers to all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Not only does the human being have a material body, but other living entities have one as well. The devotee of the Lord is merciful to everyone. Cats, dogs, trees, etc. He treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from this material entanglement. Shivananda Sen, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave liberation to a dog by treating the dog transcendentally. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by association with a sadhu, because a sadhu engages in the highest philanthropic activities for the benediction of all living entities. Yet, although a sadhu is not inimical toward anyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? It is a difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditioned souls for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm, and he quietly and peacefully follows the principles of scripture. A sadhu is also one who follows the principles of scripture and at the same time is a devotee of the Lord. One who actually follows the principles of scripture must be a devotee of God, because all the Shastras instruct us to obey the orders of the personality of Godhead. A sadhu, therefore, is a follower of the scriptural injunctions and a devotee of the Lord. All good characteristics are prominent in a devotee, and he develops all the good qualities of the demigods, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, has no good qualifications or good characteristics according to the standard of transcendental realization. There are 8.4 million life forms, according to the Padma Puran, and the Atma is the same in all of them. The sadhu can understand this, as Bhagavad Gita 5.18 indicates. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmana, A cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater are outcast. It is not that a Brahmana is the same as a dog, but that the Brahmana is a spirit soul, and the dog is also a spirit soul. We are conditioned according to our different bodies, which are given by superior forces. Yamaraj offers the living entity, a body according to his karma. Karmana Daiva Netrena. We have already discussed the point that bodies are awarded according to one's qualifications. If we acquire the qualities of a Brahmana and work as a Brahmana, we become a Brahmana. If we act as a dog and do the work of a dog, we become a dog. Nor should one think that simply because one is born as a Brahmana, one is automatically a Brahmana. There are characteristics mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita by which one can tell to which caste one belongs. Sridhar Swami has also noted that birth is not everything. One has to acquire the qualities. Whatever body we may have, our position is temporary. We cannot remain in any position indefinitely. We may think that at present we are Americans and are very happy, and that's all right. We may chalk out our plans for continued happiness, but nature will not allow us to stay indefinitely. As soon as nature calls, we die and give up our post. Then we have to take the post of a dog, a cat, a demigod, a human being, or whatever. We are now given a most exalted life form, that of a human being. But if we do not act accordingly, we have to take a lower body. This is Karmana Daiva Netrena. We should therefore be very careful in this human form that our aim is to become devotees of Lord Krishna. That is the path of liberation. Previously, great personalities in India used to go to the forest in order to meditate to stop the repetition of birth and death. That is the highest occupation for man, and actually, every man is meant for that. Unless we conquer repeated birth and death, we simply waste our lives like animals, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. People in this age especially cannot distinguish between animal life and human life. They think the difference is that animals sleep in the street and human beings sleep in nice apartments. However, the Shastras do not define civilization in this way. Whether one sleeps in the street or in an apartment, the activity is the same. A dog may eat out of a garbage can and a human being may eat on a golden plate. But this does not mean that they are engaged in different activities. In either case, both the dog and the man are taking food into their bodies. A dog may have sex in the street and a human being may have sex in a very nice bed in a secluded place, but that does not change the activity. People are thinking that advancement of civilization means improving eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But actually, these activities have nothing to do with civilization. They simply tighten our bondage to material life. Human life is meant for yajna, sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme Person. We may perfect our activities, but our success lies in satisfying Krishna by our talents. Presently, we may be attached to material activity, but we should transfer that attachment to a sadhu. Then our lives will be successful. Presently, we are attached to money, women, nice houses, country, society, friends, family, and so forth. This attachment is called Arjaram Pasham. The word Pashu means rope. When we are bound with a rope, we are helpless. And now we are bound by the gunas, or the three modes of material nature. The word guna also means rope. We cannot free ourselves, for we are conditioned. We cannot move freely without the sanction of the Supreme Authority. It is generally said that not a blade of grass moves without God's sanction. Similarly, we cannot do anything without the supervision of a superior authority. It is not that God has to take personal supervision of this. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Natasya Karanam cha Vidyate. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.8, it is thus stated that the Supreme Lord does not have to act personally. He has many agents to perform everything for him. We are so controlled that we are not even free to blink our eyes. We may be moving our hands very freely, but at any moment they can be immediately paralyzed. Presently I am claiming this is my hand. But what is this? The hand could be paralyzed immediately. This is conditioned life. And how can we improve it? Our business is to become liberated from all this conditioning. How is this possible? Sa eva sadhushu krito mokshadvaram apavratam. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.20. We have to turn our attachment from material things to a sadhu. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrakaya. This is the advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All Shastras advise us to associate with a sadhu. Even Chanakya Pandit, the great politician, recommended Teja Durjana Samsargam Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam. One Vaishnava householder asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the duty of a householder is, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Asat Sanga Tyaga Hey Vaishnava Achara, don't associate with non-devotees, but search out a sadhu. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 22.87. At the present moment, it is very difficult to avoid the company of asadhus, those who are not sadhus. It is very difficult to find a sadhu for association. We have therefore started this Krishna consciousness movement to create an association of sadhus so that people may take advantage and become liberated. There is no other purpose for this society. Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 6.47 that the first class sadhu is one who is always thinking of him. This process is not very difficult. We should always think of Krishna. But how is this possible? We think of our business, our dog, our family, our lovable object, and so many other things. We have to think of something. Without thinking, we cannot remain. We simply have to divert our thoughts to Krishna. It is the sadhu's business to teach this, and one can learn this in the association of a sadhu. Actually, a sadhu will not teach anything else. Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangaha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.4.15. This is the way to make spiritual advancement. One has to associate with a sadhu. Often the sadhu's task is thankless one, but he has to be tolerant. Despite all the trouble a sadhu may encounter, he is very merciful upon fallen conditioned souls. He sees that people are suffering due to a lack of Krishna consciousness, and because he is always thinking of the welfare of others, he is a suhrit. Other people are always envious, but the sadhu is always thinking how to save others from the clutches of Maya. A sadhu is kind not only to human beings, but to cats, dogs, trees, plants, and insects. He will hesitate even to kill one mosquito. He does not simply think, I shall just take care of my brother. He looks on all living beings as his brothers, because Krishna says that he is the father of all living entities. Because a sadhu lives in this way, he does not create enemies. If there are enemies, they become enemies out of their own character, not out of any provocation on the part of a sadhu. A sadhu simply teaches, my dear human being, my dear friend, just surrender to Krishna. Enemies arise due to a man's envious nature. Chanakya Pandit says that there are two envious animals, serpents and men. Although you may be faultless, either may kill you. Of the two, Chanakya Pandit says that the envious man is more dangerous because the serpent can be subdued by chanting a mantra or by some herbs, but an envious man cannot be so subdued. In Kali Yuga, practically everyone is envious, but we have to tolerate this. Envious people create many impediments to the Krishna consciousness movement, but we have to tolerate them. There is no alternative. One must be peaceful and depend on Krishna in all circumstances. These are the ornaments of a sadhu. We should find a sadhu and associate with him. Then our path of liberation will be open. In the next verse, Lord Kapila further explains the activities of a sadhu. Text 22. Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti ye dridham madkrite tyakta karmanas tyakta svajana bandhavaha. Such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationships and friendly acquaintances within the world. A person in the renounced order of life, a sannyasi, is also called a sadhu because he renounces everything: his home, his comfort, his friends, his relatives, and his duties to friends and to family. He renounces everything for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A sannyasi is generally in the renounced order of life, but his renunciation will be successful only when his energy is employed in the service of Lord with great austerity. It is said here, therefore, Bhaktim Kurvanti Ye Vedham. A person who seriously engages in the service of the Lord and is in the renounced order of life is a sadhu. A sadhu is one who has given up all responsibility to society, family, and worldly humanitarianism simply for the service of the Lord. As soon as he takes his birth in the world, a person has many responsibilities and obligations to the public, demigods, great sages, general living beings, parents, forefathers, and many others. When he gives up these obligations for the service of the Supreme Lord, he is not punished for his renunciation. But if for sense gratification a person renounces these obligations, he is punished by the law of nature. Krishna and all the Shastras say that our only obligation is to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we take to His service, we are no longer obliged to anyone. We are free. How is this possible? By Almighty God's power. A man may be condemned to death, but if a president or a king excuses him, he is saved. Krishna's final instruction in the Bhagavad Gita is to surrender everything to him. We can sacrifice our life, wealth, and intelligence, and this is called yajna. Everyone has some intelligence, and everyone uses his intelligence in one way or other. Generally, people use their intelligence in trying to gratify their senses. But even an ant can do this. We should try to gratify not our senses, but Krishna's senses. Then we become perfect. We have to learn this purificatory process from a sadhu. In as much as we try to gratify our senses, we become attached to the material world. We may render service to the sadhu or to Krishna. The sadhu is the representative of Krishna. He will never say, serve me, but will say, serve Krishna. Therefore, we have to approach Krishna through the sadhu. This is confirmed by the Vaishnava Acharya Narottam Das Thakur. Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Pecha Keba. We cannot directly approach Krishna. We have to go through the transparent via media, Krishna's representatives. Those who are after material concessions go to different demigods. They take something from Shiva, Durga, Kali, Ganesha, Surya, and whomever. However, it was the goddess Parvati who asked Lord Shiva, what is the best type of worship? Lord Shiva advised, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Padmapuran, my dear Parvati, of all kinds of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. Then he added, Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadyanam Samarchanam. And even better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of a Vaishnava, a devotee. Spiritual life begins with the association of a devotee, a sadhu. One cannot progress an inch without the mercy of sadhu. Prahlad Maharaj has also indicated this. Okay, we'll continue from here tomorrow. It was here today on this wonderful association of sadhu, sadhu sangha, as Prabhupada is explaining. And sadhu is not just a brahmana by birth, as once I was reading in Srimad Bhagavatam, this definition about brahmana Prabhupada was explaining, actually is given in Garud, I think it was Garud Purana or Varaha Purana one, somewhere he was mentioning, and he was saying specifically, like the example he was quoting was of Shamika Rishi's son, Shringi, who curses Parikshit Maharaj, and that is where the kind of the decline of Brahmana community started, because Shringi, unjustly cursed Parikshit Maharaj to die in 7 days by the bite of a snake bird. It was unjust because it was the level of punishment, the level of curse that he gave was unjust for the activity that Parikshit Maharaj did. And ultimately, Prabhupada explains in that purport that everything happens, as we read today also, everything happens by the will of the Lord, right? So the Lord wants, and the Lord wants to call his devotees back home, he will orchestrate such a situation where apparently the devotee will also be bewildered, right? But otherwise it was very hard for Parikshit Maharaj to be bewildered, because he was a Raja Rishi. He was a pure devotee who was protected by the Lord even from the time of his birth in the womb of Mother Uttara. So, but the point that we're trying to make here is the difference between Brahmana. Prabhupada says there that Shamika Rishi was a mystic, was a pure Brahmana. Parikshit Maharaj is a Raja Rishi and a pure devotee of the Lord. And the Shringi, who was the son of Shamika Rishi, he became so powerful as a Brahmana. Because he was a child of a pure Brahmana, he was so powerful that he had that potency to curse a devotee, right? But that quality that he had of a Brahmana was not just because of his birth, because Prabhupada explains there that in the Purana it is mentioned that some demons in the past, who were there during the times of the Lord, but who were not personally killed by the Lord, because when somebody is killed by the Lord, then they attain salvation. But some demons who are not killed by the Lord, they took birth as Brahmanas in the family of Brahmanas, so that they will get the mercy of pure devotees, and then they can get salvation. So that is mentioned in the Purana. So that's why Prabhupada says again and again that it's not just by birth that one becomes a Brahmana, right? So a Brahmana can actually be a demon from their previous life, but they just take birth so that by the mercy of the Lord and by the mercy of the devotees, they may actually factually become a Brahmana by practicing process of devotional service. So Brahmana is not by birth but by qualification and gunas. And the reference of Sridhar Swami was also mentioned today. I was hearing one lecture recently where Prabhupada, of course, these purports, Guru Maharaj also explains many times that these purports of Srila Prabhupada, these are so beautiful, so wonderful, because these are words of all the predecessor acharyas. Prabhupada used to refer to all these acharyas' commentaries, right, as he was translating, and then he would add his insights that were relevant for the current times. So by reading these purports of Srila Prabhupada, we get so much of mercy from Srila Prabhupada and from all the predecessor acharyas. So Sridhar Swami, as was referenced today, there's a nice pastime that I was hearing. Sridhar Swami was so, like, we talk about how to become determined, unflinching, on this path of devotional service, how to stay the course, not be swayed away, by the daily grind of our lives. And one beautiful story from Sridhar Swami Maharaj's personal life was, when he wanted to renounce everything, and he wanted to leave his house. And at one point he decided that that he would go, but when he comes to his house, he notices that his wife has given birth to a boy, to a child. And so when he comes home, he sees that, and then he prays to the Lord. Oh Lord, today I wanted to renounce everything, and I wanted to leave home. Like Prabhupada saying, in the olden years, people sadhus would leave home, right, and they would go to forest and do tapasya. So, of course, in this age, we don't even have to do that. We are so blessed by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We just have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But the point is, Sridhar Swami, so he wanted to leave, but then what happened is, immediately at that point, his wife had actually passed away, and the son was born. Son was crying, next to the mother, and then Sridhar Swami is praying to the Lord. Oh Lord, what should I do now? This little child I have to take care. And in his mind, he was praying, and as soon as he was doing that, within a minute he saw there was, it was a thatched hut, right? They used to live in huts. So there was a lizard's egg actually dropped from the roof, and it fell down, and immediately a baby lizard came out, and it was just lying on the ground because the eggshell broke, and the baby lizard was just lying, and immediately within 30 seconds he saw there was one flying insect passing close to that baby lizard, and immediately the baby lizard just jumped and immediately caught that insect and ate it. So immediately, he realized the divine arrangement of the Lord here, that he was thinking that he has to take care of this child, he has to take care of his family, but Krishna is there. He's there too. He's the maintainer and protector of everybody. So he was giving him direction and instruction there through this incident, that what are we to take care of, right? A small baby lizard who's not even opened her eyes, so much of sensory power and ability the Lord has given it, that without even opening the eyes, it is able to sense that there is an insect, and it to feed itself, it jumps and it immediately catches that insect. So that one incident reaffirms his faith that Krishna is the ultimate protector, Krishna is the ultimate maintainer. So with that conviction, he says he leaves the house just as it is. His wife is dead, his son is there, next to his wife, crying, baby, and he leaves home. So long story short, so then he goes to Puri one day after many years of his sadhana, of his tapasya, and then he goes to the king in Puri, or near Puri, and he goes there, and then he notices there is a child there, a boy now. It's almost like after 40 years. So now it's almost, the person is almost 30, 35, 40 years old, something like that. And then this person is chanting very nicely and is speaking very nice Harikatha. So he asks that how come, who is this boy who's such nicely, he's reciting verses and he's doing Harikatha. So he asks other people, and then they say he's the son of the king. And Sridhar Swami Maharaj doesn't actually believe it. He says, I don't think so. This cannot be the son of the king. So anyway, so again he tries to find out who he is, and ultimately he comes to know that that boy and this king was passing through a village 40 years ago. He heard cries of the villagers, and then this small baby was born, and how his father had just left him and his wife was dead, and he had just left them alone. So then the king takes the responsibility to bring up this child. So this child actually, is brought up by the king as his own child, but eventually Sridhar Swami Maharaj realizes that this is his own child, and that is why he had that potency to do that Harikatha as he was doing. Right, so then again Sridhar Swami Maharaj thanks the Lord and sees, and again the whole point here is that the Lord is the ultimate protector and the maintainer. Right, we think that we are doers and we are parents and we maintain, but actually the Lord is the one who is maintaining everybody. So it's a very nice pastime that I heard about Sridhar Swami Maharaj. So anyways, these purports are inspired by Sridhar Swami Maharaj and all the predecessor acharyas by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, let's pause here. Anybody else would like to share anything? Any other thoughts, comments, reflections? How are we all remembering the Lord during our day? Hopefully we are. Anybody wants to share? Anandani Gopika Mataji gifted a very nice water bottle with Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya inscribed on it, or jug, water mug, whatever mug it was. I am the taste of water. Thank you for that. Thank you for, whenever we'll see that, we'll remember that words now.
It's your inspiration.
Sorry, Mata, your voice is echoing. What is it?
It's your inspiration and the inspiration of Sri Mataji. So all mercy of the devotee. But thank you for inspiring, and this is it has been a wonderful experience by thinking of the sunrise, the moon. Yesterday, me and Prisha were walking in the night, and we saw the almost full moon, and we were thinking about Krishna. So that's been really nice.
Yeah, thank you. Like this, it's like Tali do haath se bajti hai. So yeah, one inspiration, and then other devotees inspire others, right? So we all take inspiration from each other. So now that you have given that, so yeah, for us it will always be a nice remembrance. And yes, yeah, we can remember the Lord through these simple gestures, and just by practice, abhyasena tu kaunteya, as Krishna says, right? So we are all just on this path of practice. This practice will hopefully drive us on the path towards perfection. Yeah, I remember yesterday I was telling the same thing to Harshika and Vidhi also. We see from here, from our foyer, we can see the moon last night, as you were saying. It was bright and beautiful. Yeah, Vidhi and I, we were remembering Krishna just by looking at the moon. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else would like to say anything? All right. We would like to hear more reflections, more inspiration. As we share with each other, we are able to take those inspiration deeper into our hearts and able to move forward with more firm faith and more determination just with those inspiration. So thank you all for sharing, and continue to share even in the WhatsApp, in our reading group if you can. So that will be nice. So with that, we'll pause here today. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय।
जय।
पाद की जय।
जय।
टीचिंग्स ऑफ लॉर्ड कपिल देव की जय।
जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा।